I want to open up with a quote from your book, Core Christianity, because
Oh,
I
well,
feel
then I
yeah,
really
this
am.
is off to a really good
Yeah.
start. It makes a distinction that a lot of Christians today miss that I'd love for you to unpack a little bit. You wrote, a lot of people start with their personal story. When they are asked about the identity of Jesus, they answer, He's my best friend, or He lives in my heart, or He changed my life. These are all wonderful truths, but it is history, His story, before it is my story. Can you talk a little bit about that? Because I think a
Yeah.
lot of people don't realize this.
Yeah. Okay, first and foremost, I don't want people to think that our story is unimportant as far as we are baptized into Christ. We are united to Him. We share His life, and so we can talk about the difference that's made in our life. But it's interesting that when we say I shared my testimony, we typically mean I talked about how I became a Christian. When we see that word testimony in the New Testament, though, the apostles are giving eyewitness testimony like eyewitnesses in a courtroom. They're not talking about, when you have witnesses in a court trial, they don't get up on the stand and say, well, this is the difference that the car accident has made in my life, or this is
Yeah.
how I feel about it.
Very subjective.
Right. It's not subjective. They're witnessing to objective facts that they saw. Well, that's what we find, for example, at the beginning of 1 John. We are giving a report of what our eyes have seen, our ears have heard, what our hands have handled. It is eyewitness reportage of the life and times of Jesus, His teachings about Himself, what He accomplished for us. So their testimony was to Christ, objectively, in history. And now John says, our testimony is yours. In other words, now you believe our testimony and you pass on that testimony to others. So first and foremost, our testimony to Christ is who He is, what He's done for all of us. I can talk about my personal experience and people can say, well, that's good for you. But I'm not just talking about my personal experience. I'm talking about objective facts in history that are as significant for you as they are for me. We all have to deal with whether this happened or not. And if it did, all of our lives are changed. So ironically, our lives aren't changed by talking about our lives. Our lives are changed by talking about Jesus.
I love that, Mike. And it really takes a lot of pressure off of us, too, because
Yeah.
it's like I don't have to worry about how cool my testimony is. It's really the
Right.
testimony of the fact that Jesus rose from the dead.
But then we do need to know the facts. We do need to know. I know the facts of my own personal experience pretty well. That doesn't take a lot of work. But I really do need to know the facts of Jesus' life, teaching, accomplishments, His person and work. And I need to sort of be deliberate about thinking about what I would say to a non-Christian to communicate that, particularly to defend the resurrection of Jesus Christ. And if you're interested, folks, we have a really good resource on our website. I wrote up a summary of that argument. How can we believe in the resurrection of Jesus, I think is the title. But it's a basic step-by-step series of arguments that you can give to a non-Christian to explain why we believe that Jesus rose from the dead.
Yeah.